Food and Nutrition on Elevate Voice TV.
Greetings to you all, viewers, everyone present on set here today, all well wishers. We are live on Elevate Voice TV, amplifying voices, inspiring the world. Food and Nutrition is the program, and Biira Renita Precious is my name. I would like to welcome you to the NutriSafe Communities Organization Awareness Series. So someone can ask me, who are the NutriSafe and what are they bringing to us today? So I can tell you right here, right now, that our mission is to ensure that everyone, regardless of who you are or where you are, you're able to have access to knowledge in order to make informed and healthy food choices. So what do? We bring to you experts passionate about nutrition who are going to decode nutrition myths and reveal the most current scientific breakthroughs in relation to nutrition and health. So right here today, we have a passionate expert that is going to help us dive right into the topic of the day, which I'm going to introduce to you, but right after our dear clinical and community nutritionist, a very passionate man, speaking from a personal opinion, because he's also a dear friend of mine. So right after he introduces himself, I don't want to say his name, and if I continue talking, I'm going to end up sleeping, but I want to give him the floor to be able to tell us about himself, connect with you all, and maybe tell us a little fun fact about himself. So let us welcome our expert of the day.
Wow, thank you so much. I'm so excited. My name is Atonjide Alfred Mihanda, and I am a clinical and community nutritionist. I'm very humbled to be here. Thank you so much, NutriSafe. Thank you so much, Albert TV.
What name would you like me to refer you to? One of your three names.
Wow, I prefer Mihanda.
Okay, so he chose to choose the hardest for me. Alright, so Mr. Mihanda, you're most welcome to Element TV, the food and nutrition program. So we are going to dive right into our topic of the day, which is, it seems simple, but it's actually deeper than we take it to be, and that's coming from a personal opinion. Okay, so Mr. Mihanda, I earlier talked about you being a passionate expert, and I know you're a passionate expert, but would you please share to us what you're passionate about? And these days, apparently, people have more than one thing that they're passionate about. So I'm going to make my question clear and ask you today, right now, right here, what are you passionate about that has led you to be seated right where you are?
Wow, thank you so much. That is a very interesting question. And like you said, we have a lot of passions. But right now and right here, I'm very passionate about guiding communities on how to rethink what good food really is, or what healthy food is real.
Wow. You know how you think you know something, but when someone says one single statement, you start rethinking your whole life and you ask yourself, what did I think I know? That is me right now. But okay, let's dive right into today's topic, which might seem quite simple, but it's greatly misunderstood. And this is not a borrowed opinion, it's my own personal opinion from the depths of my synaptic connections. Yeah, I like to make nerd jokes sometimes, but right, let's proceed. So today's topic is dietary fiber. And I am going to start off the discussion by asking you one question, the opening question of the day. And it is, why do people think that living like cows or eating like cows or living like the poor man just to stay healthy? You know how people joke around these days, people joke a lot, and people have this joke of relating vegetables and high dietary fiber foods as the cow diet or the poor man's diet. So, yeah, so that is the opening question of the day, and we are going to dive right into the topic through that. So I'm going to ask you, Mr. Mihanda, what do you think about that? Why do you think this mindset still persists in our communities?
Wow, that's a very amazing observation, and perhaps you're not the only one who have talked about it. A number of clients that I have been managing have also mentioned something that is close to that. And they're asking you, why do you want me to eat like the poor? Why do you want me to eat like a cow? Whenever you're telling them the portions of food they should be eating to stay healthy, they start echoing such questions. But it is without doubt that they have to be thinking that way, depending on the way we have come to perceive healthy eating to be. But as we dive deeper into today's discussion, you're going to understand that it's not eating like a cow, it's actually eating a health way. And I hope we get ample time so that I can elaborate it better so that people do not continue thinking that way, because what we call a poor man's food in Africa is being recognized as a superfood in the Western world. So currently, that is my stand.
Wow, that's crazy because we have the medicine, but we are running away from it.
Seriously.
Yeah. So let's start with the basics. So if I ask you what dietary fiber is and what is its importance in our lives, to our health, in our bodies, what would you have to tell me about that?
When we talk about dietary fiber, I will first confess that most people, and even I myself in my upbringing in the schools I have gone through, we tend to relate dietary fiber to a normal roughage. In fact, we used to learn about it as a roughage. But I need to confess that dietary fiber is bigger than that. So, majorly, when we talk about dietary fiber, we are talking about that food component that is not digestible by the body. When I talk about not being digestible, already you tag it to be not necessary, but that's not what it really is. It plays a very big, important role in the body, like we are going to see. But dietary fiber is divided into two major types. We have soluble fiber and then insoluble dietary fiber. And when we talk about soluble dietary fiber, we are talking about this fiber that is part of the food, but when you immerse the food in water or mix the food in water, it is going to dissolve within the water and mostly forms gel, gel-like a substance. And when we talk about the insoluble dietary fiber, it is this component of food. When you include it on the food, even if you were to put it in water, it would just be soaked and not dissolve.
Oh, so you are saying that fiber is not just a roughage.
Yeah, true.
Wow. So here's something I've noticed. The richer people get, the less dietary fiber they actually take. And we have noticed that the rich people actually die young, according to the studies anyway. I can't be so sure. So what can you tell me about that?
Thank you so much for that question. It is worth exploring because even studies have shown it very well that actually in Uganda currently it's only 12.2% that meet their dietary fiber requirements. And when we talk about the requirements, we are talking about the 5 servings that are recommended by the WHO. So only 12.2% in Uganda currently meet that requirement. So that is leaving almost 8 among 10 people living without meeting their dietary fiber requirements. And it has been affiliated to the rich because currently the diets that are tagged to be fancy, fried, processed, and ultra processed foods are tagged to be the food for the rich, while the food that are not processed are called to be the foods of the poor. When someone was to eat the cassava, the sweet potatoes, they are regarded to be poor. While people who are eating pizza, drinking sodas, they are the people who are called to be rich. And you come to realize that it is otherwise. The other people who are called to be poor are getting a very good supply of dietary fiber, while the people who are rich are getting less dietary fiber. And this has a very big impact on their bodies and especially their health. Yes.
What you're saying is the rich diet is killing us.
Slowly,
Yeah,
but
the rich
sure.
diet is killing us slowly but sure. So let us break this down because, as you have said, that fiber is so much wider than we think. So help us understand, break down what fiber is and its use in our bodies, because people hear that fiber is essential for your gut health, digestion. So help us understand this.
Wow, that is amazing. And I'm glad that some people like you already know such an impact on their health and their digestion. So when we were young, or in the layman's community, they used to tell us that when you eat fiber, the major importance, it is going to increase on the bulk of your stool so that you can go to the toilet quickly. You don't suffer from constipation, which is a very good assumption, which is a very good point and a true point of fiber. But I need to let the viewers know that fiber plays other crucial roles better than that. We need to realize that our bodies are having what we call the good bacteria and the bad bacteria in our digestive system. So depending on the type of food you eat, you're feeding one of the two. And when you eat food that is rich in dietary fiber, you're feeding the good bacteria. And if you're eating the food that is less in dietary fiber but high in simple sugars, you're feeding the bad bacteria. So most people have fed the bad bacteria over days, and they have experienced some discomfort and sometimes some diseases as a result of that. But if I'm to break down dietary fiber, I talked about soluble fiber and insoluble fiber. First of all, fiber plays a very crucial role when it comes to regulating blood sugar. It plays a very crucial role. And then fiber plays another very crucial role when it comes to ensuring and improving the immune function of the body. It also plays another very important role to prevent cardiovascular diseases, especially lowering the cholesterol level of our blood. Those are very important points that we need to note when it comes to fiber. But let me first begin with lowering or regulating the glucose spikes. When you eat fiber alongside your food, or when you eat fiber before you have a meal, this fiber is going to limit the level at which your body is going to get the sugars from your digestive system to the blood. So you're not going to have a sudden increase of blood sugar in your blood. So fiber is trying to regulate. So it will be going slowly, slowly, slowly into the digestive system. And these sudden blood sugar spikes tend to be not very good to our bodies. That's why we recommend people to take fiber. Because people who take simple sugars have sudden glucose spikes, and this triggers inflammation, and of course they pre-expose you to diseases like diabetes. So that's why we continue to recommend fiber. Yes.
No question. Sorry, before you proceed. Is it the soluble fiber or insoluble fiber that does that?
Oh, that is amazing. It is both.
Both.
But majorly, science and research has affiliated the insoluble fiber to play a very crucial role in that. In fact, insoluble fiber, studies that have been conducted on specifically insoluble fiber, it has it has shown us that people who eat adequate amounts of insoluble fiber, they even get more insulin sensitivity from their cells. What does that mean? That your cells easily recognize insulin, and insulin is a hormone that helps our body to utilize glucose in our blood. So if your cells were not able to recognize insulin, that's when you hear diabetes coming in. So insoluble fiber plays a very crucial role in that. But of course, even insoluble fiber plays a crucial role on regulating on how much glucose is going to get into blood at each time. Yes, so if I'm to continue with my discussion, I hope I have answered you. Another thing I talked about is that the impact of dietary fiber on our immune system. It is very important to note that our immune system is a very complex, I call it ecosystem. It is having a number of bacteria. So when these bacteria, the good bacteria, it has good and bad. So if you eat the dietary fiber, you have fed the good bacteria. They are now there in your digestive system. So when you take a meal that is having dietary fiber, these good bacteria are going to feed and break down that fiber and start producing some components. Majorly, we have the butyrate, we have the acetate and propionate, but that is for the scientists, of course. But what we need to know that there are some components that are produced from those good bacteria feeding on the dietary fiber, and that hopes that those results, they are good to nourish the body cells. The butyrate becomes a very good energy source to our cells, and even making sure that the lining of the digestive system retains its integrity by preventing inflammation. And then lastly, the impact of dietary fiber. Then in addition to that, I also said that dietary fiber plays a crucial role to prevent someone from, it reduces risks of someone suffering from cardiovascular diseases. And how does it play this role? Fiber plays a very amazing function by lowering what people call the bad cholesterol, which is the low lipid density lipoprotein. If this cholesterol is not regulated, your body, it is always deposited along the vessels, the blood vessels. That's how you hear that someone has gotten a stroke, someone is having heart attack, someone is having hypertension, because it causes, it puts you at a risk of what we call atherosclerosis, which is a condition when your blood vessels are hardening due to the deposition of that cholesterol. So this amazing guy, fiber, what it does, when you take a meal that is having cholesterol, it attaches itself to it and ensures that it is not absorbed into the bloodstream. And there is another pathway. The liver produces cholesterol, in fact, the liver itself. So when the liver produces cholesterol, it is produced, it is introduced, it is produced to the digestive system as bile. So when it is produced into the digestive system as bile, it reaches a certain point of the digestive system and it is absorbed again into the bloodstream. So what fiber again does, and specifically soluble fiber, it attaches to those cholesterol components in the bile so that they are not reabsorbed again into the bloodstream. So at the end of it all, the total number of cholesterol absorbed back into the blood is very limited. So you will not be that affected. So that is another very important point to note about dietary fiber. And then lastly, science has proven that there is a connection between the gut which is the digestive system and the brain. So when these microorganisms or the bacteria and the yeasts in the digestive system feed on the dietary fiber, they produce the components like I had said. And some of these components trigger the nerves, especially the vagus nerve, which talks to the brain, and specifically the butyrate that is produced. It triggers the vagus nerve. When it reaches the brain, do you know what it stimulates? Mood. It stimulates your mood and ensures that you have a very good mood. So sometimes you see people who are upset. Sometimes for me, I don't run to braille. Sometimes I think this guy is not having enough fiber. Maybe if we were to handle their diet, this guy would be having a very good mood. So that is another very important point to note about dietary fibers.
Right. So I think I need to also look into my fiber intake because
Wow,
of
that's
the mood.
amazing.
So in layman's language, to summarize everything, I am right to say that fiber is like a peacekeeper in my body.
Exactly.
Okay, wow. So I'm going to ask this question as a Ugandan. So any other person that is not included, that is not favored by my question, I'm really apologizing for a hand. So I'm going to ask as a Ugandan and a Ugandan in Africa. What are some of the foods that are high in fiber, in that dietary fiber? So what foods would you recommend if I come to you and I need to start taking more dietary fiber?
Oh, that's an amazing question. In fact, when I'm dealing with my clients, uh, I make sure that I zero it down to their origin. If I'm handling someone from the West, I'll be talking about the foods of the West. And if I'm handling an African, I make sure that I zero it down to what they can access. So when we look into that topic, uh, which dietary fiber, which foods can give us adequate dietary fiber, it's quite a number of them. In fact, every food that is not processed and is of a plant origin is certainly having a certain content of dietary fiber. To give you examples, and of course, not leaving out, when we say plants, we even have to mention about some fungus, like mushroom. Mushroom, though not a plant, it also has dietary fiber, but animal products do not have. The other time I had an argument with a certain friend of mine saying that he sees meat having fibers, that those are fibers. No, those are not, that is not dietary fiber. The body is going to process everything and will get no dietary fiber from the meat.
Oh, so that's where it comes from, that fiber is a roughage.
Exactly.
Wow. I'm learning. I hope you are learning too.
So the roughage is that component of the food that is not going to be digested by the body. So that is exactly what it is. But to answer your question about examples, first of all, we have fruits and vegetables. And of course, these different things have different portions. Avocado has a good number of soluble and insoluble fiber. The guavas have a good number of them. And then when we look at vegetables, like the nakati, dodo, buga, all those are having a quite number of dietary fiber. So if you were to include them on your diet, it is a very big deal. And of course, not leaving out other foods like cereals. When you take your millet bread, there is a very good portion of dietary fiber because the whole grain was milled, nothing was thrown away. So if you were to also get the maize grain and mill it whole, you're going to be having a good component of dietary fiber. So in Africa, if you're taking your millet bread, you're taking the tubers like the sweet potatoes, Irish, you're benefiting because they are not highly processed, so no component of fiber has been thrown away.
The more you keep on talking, the more my head keeps on running. So right now, all I'm thinking about is we keep on exporting health and importing disease.
Yeah.
Interesting, quite ironic. So, um, if I come to you and I want to improve my gut health and my heart health, where do you think I can start? What can you tell me as a nutritionist?
Well, that's an amazing question. Of course, if you want to increase your gut health and you want to improve your heart health, first of all, what we prioritize is that let it not be a blunt. Eating dietary fiber and you choosing that you're going to take on consumption of dietary fiber is an amazing move. But it has to be realized that you need to take it on a slower pace. It's like rehabilitation.
Mm.
So if you do it abruptly, you might start experiencing some side effects which are not good, like bloating.
Bloating,
Yeah. And what brings bloating actually is that you're taking a food component that your body is not able to digest or to break down.
Yes.
And that specifically, you're eating a dietary fiber that you do not have enough bacteria in your gut to break it down. So we keep introducing it on a slower as we keep increasing. And of course, when you start feeding on dietary fiber, even your gut microbiome, when I talk about gut microbiome, I'm talking about that environment of bacteria and yeast, everything in your gut. So now your gut microbiome has now increased. You now have enough bacteria to break down that dietary fiber. So when you keep increasing, you come to realize that you can actually handle. That's why people who change locations and change food, sometimes you experience bloating for a little while. When you were to go to the village, like right now, if you have not been eating beans in the city and go to the village and you start taking beans, you experience bloating because you do not have that bacteria to break the component down. But when you get a copy from the people who are already staying in the area, you manage to break it down and you will not experience bloating anymore. So that is it. You have to take it on a slow pace and then you keep increasing, but not sudden. And of course, remembering to hydrate, taking adequate water. Not plenty, but adequate.
Mm.
Yes.
Wow. So my question might have helped plenty. You people have had free services from the nutritionist. I can already feel it that someone out there is benefiting from my question because people actually pay so much money just to have a session with a nutritionist. You might not see the essence of it now, but trust me, when it's your time, when it's your turn, you will feel it. So nourish today for healthier tomorrow, right?
Wow.
Yeah, nourish today for healthier tomorrow. If you know, you know. So yeah, I have so many questions that I would really like to ask, but understanding science, it's that there is so much that is being discovered, that has been discovered. There is so many things are interconnected. So if I start asking you questions about gut bacteria and then the fiber feeding it, because prebiotics, yeah, prebiotics, they feed the probiotics. Yeah, so if I start going into so many, all the questions that I have in my head, we might never leave here. So the only way to survive is continue reading and consulting. So he has given us an overview, and that's why we have these people. They give us the highlights, but still, it's all up to you. Go and read, research, consult with your nutritionist. These people are here for you, and as I said from the beginning, they are passionate experts. They're here for us. Please embrace them. So thank you so much, Mr. Mihanda. It has been a very wonderful session, and I personally I can say that I've actually learned something today, and I hope you have too. We, as the NutriSelf, we are very glad to have hosted you for this session, and we have really learned quite a lot because you have a lot to share, and I'm sure you're still boiling. I just need to hit you up with a question, and you'll have like 1,000 words to spill out.
Yeah, exactly.
But did I mention that Mr. Mihanda here is also part of our organization? So we decided to host him today as a passionate expert, but he's also part of the team. So I am going to invite him to give us a little tell us something more about the NutriSafe.
Well, thank you so much. That is quite amazing, and I'm very humbled. It is on rare occasions where you shift the cameras back to your home and say, let me talk to the people. So when you talk about NutriSafe Communities Organization, majorly we look up to creating communities where food fuels good health, economic transformation, and social connection. And our major aim is to make sure that the whole world, not Uganda alone, they have that adequate knowledge to make informed and healthy food choices. Because we have come to realize that a food and nutrition or nutrition is a conventional medicine because we are guided by science in every decision that we make. So NutriSafe Communities, I continue to thank the organizers and everyone that is behind it for choosing to make sure that the people are getting right and credible information to guide them on such decisions. And what does NutriSafe do apart from that? We partner with organizations with which have the same aim and objectives like we, to ensure that the public and the communities are getting more about nutrition, health, and well-being. We also reach out to communities through outreaches and, of course, through partnerships with local community systems like hospitals. We also do that. And people may be saying, apart from YouTube and then such televisions, where do we find NutriSafe? We are live on all social media handles, ranging from TikTok through YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, X. Of course, you come to realize that every content that we create, we publish it through all those social media handles. So make sure that you follow us. We are going to share the link to all those social media handles. Feel free to follow us, leave your comment, leave your question, and we shall come back and reply you. And of course, as a NutriSafe communities, it is always our slogan that the priority is the community. We put you first, we treasure you, and we value the time that you spared to make sure that you're watching this information. Maybe a disclaimer is that this information shouldn't replace the recommendations of your doctors. Rather, it should guide you and your doctor to make sure that you get a very good, healthy attention. We look forward to a community and to countries where nutrition health is integrated in medicine and healthcare systems.
Thank you, Mr. Mahinda. Once again, I cannot thank you enough for honoring our invitation today. And shout out to Elevate Voice TV for having us and embracing food and nutrition, amplifying voices, inspiring the world. You can reach out to them on YouTube and TikTok. Yes, that's where you can be able to watch their content and follow up on whatever they do. I remain Biira Renita Precious. Thank you so much for tuning in for today. See you next time.
Food and nutrition on Elevate Voice TV.